Yo, 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 yo. With a cup of cocoa. Hey, Christmas is coming up. Why not? Anyway, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to my 2025 DVD and Blu-Ray collection overview. This is part 19. Yeah, so it only took 18 parts to get through all the Blu-rays I've watched so far. But we did, at the end of the last part, jump into some DVDs here. So we're going to go ahead, and I should be able to get these last two shelves done here with DVDs. And then, like I said, we'll kind of bounce around a little bit from there, but we'll keep it rocking and rolling and all that good stuff. So there you go. But let's go ahead and let's get it on, so to speak, in the words of who sang that? Let's get it on. Marvin Gaye. I don't even. I'm fucking exhausted, but gotta get this done. So first up, we have probably something that I don't ever see this coming out on Blu-ray because I don't think. Well, many reasons. We'll get into it, but I do have the Adventures of Young Indiana Jones, the TV series. I don't think these are ever coming out on Blu-ray. Number one, when they did these DVDs, they went back, they re-edited things, they changed things. The Young Indiana Jones TV series, I actually really like. I don't think I watched it when it was originally on, but I do remember it being on because they really pushed it, they really hyped it, and ultimately it did not do well. I think it was considered a disaster. Number one, it was so expensive to make. It was, I think at the time, it was the most expensive TV series. Number two, I think one of the problems with the show was they went back and forth too much because I think they might have aired the episodes out of order. So one week, Indy would be Corey Carrier, where he's little, and then the next week he would be Sean Patrick Flannery, and then they would go back. And I think the only episode that did well in the ratings was the one episode that had Harrison Ford in it because he was shooting The Fugitive at the time and his beard was grown out, and they were able to get him to do one episode. So that was the problems with that. And again, I think critically it was very well received, but with fans, it didn't do well. But I always had a soft spot for it. I do like it. But the problem with these DVDs and the VHSs, actually, they went back and they re-edited all the episodes. They turned them into movies. They combined episodes. I think they went back and shot new footage. But the editing on these is terrible. There's so many shots where you could see the time codes. So they went back to the work prints, and there'll be time codes in shots, and they redid some of the special effects, and they look terrible. And there's shit that's shot at different fucking aspect ratios, and they did like a hatchet job on it. And then they tried to make these like historical, and they tried to make them educational so they could show them in schools, and I don't think they sold very well, and I think they went out of print very quickly. But I would love if they were to go back and put the show out as it originally aired. I think you can find bootlegs and stuff out there where they did that, because I think they only aired on ABC, and then the Family Channel picked them up, and then the show, I think there were a couple episodes that didn't air at all. The show was canceled before they aired, so it's a mess in many different ways. But like I said, I've always had a little bit of a soft spot for it because I'm such a big Indiana Jones fan. But that's just me. So we have Volume 1, which that is Elizabeth Hurley before she was famous. And that's the thing, there's a bunch of great guest stars, and there's some really cool stuff in here, but I think, they kind of got a little too crazy with certain things, and like I said, they aired the episodes out of order. Then they fucked it up even more with these when they re-edited everything, and they didn't fix shit and, all that stuff. But, I do like it. These are, I think they're like 12, they're yeah, they're 12 disc sets each, so they're pretty big. I got them all in one go. I found them used in an FYE, but I think one disc is the episode, and then the second disc is all the extra features. And it's cool that they did that, but were people really interested in it? Probably not. I mean, to be honest. Then we got Volume 2, The Warriors. There's Catherine Zeta-Jones before anyone knew she was famous. Some guy that played James Bond named Daniel Craig. Maybe you know him. And nobody talks about this show. And I do have the VHS tapes that came out. There was a Laserdisc set that came out in Japan that had, I think, the first season in its original broadcast form. So there you go. This one's actually 9 discs, sorry. But it was very prestigious. They tried, but it didn't click. When you think of Indiana Jones, when most people think of Indiana Jones, they want Harrison Ford, okay? They don't want somebody. It is what it is. No one else can play Indiana Jones. And then we have Volume 3, The Years of Change, which this volume actually has the episode that Harrison Ford was in, which is The Mystery of the Blues, which is disc 6. And they didn't even include a picture of him on here. Maybe it's underneath the tray. Let me look. No, they didn't. I guess he did not allow his likeness to be used for this. Oh, well. But, again, when people think of Indy, they want Harrison Ford. It is what it is. It's called reality. Oh, well. But I like it. That's just me. Alright, and then we have some... Actually, no, this is a part of it. We have some Kevin Smith stuff. First up, we have the Criterion DVD of Chasing Amy, because the commentary track I did not mean to make that weird noise. The commentary track that is on here is different from the one that's on the Blu-ray. I think the rest of the features is the same. Yeah, deleted scenes and all that. But yeah, this one has a different commentary track, which was actually recorded for the Laserdisc, because I talked about this before, in case you missed it or you came in late or whatever. On the commentary, Kevin Smith says, "Fuck DVD," and I think on here he had to apologize for that because it was DVD, but oh well. And then we have Dogma, because when they did the old Blu-ray for Dogma, it did not have the video commentary that was on here. The Umbrella release does, so when I get that, I can get rid of this and the old Sony Blu-ray for Dogma. But again, they were too lazy to put on the video commentary, just like with Mallrats. I have Mallrats on DVD over there. I just haven't watched it yet. So there you go. And then we have Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, because none of the extra features made it to the Blu-ray for whatever reason. So that's why I still have it on DVD, because this has a shit ton of extra features on here, and none of them made it to the Blu-ray. I don't even think the Blu-ray has the commentary. So there's that. And then I have An Evening with Kevin Smith 2, Evening Harder. I have the first one and the third one over there. I just haven't watched them yet. But this one's fucking hilarious. This is the one where he went on the whole thing about X-Men's, about being gay, and I think this was around the time that Mel Gibson went fucking nuts. And he's like, Martin Riggs really became crazy. Mad Max became Mad Max. Like shit like that. So, but this is pretty funny. I do like this. I like these Q&As that he did. And this is the old Blockbuster release. And then we have the Clerks cartoon, because this is probably never coming out on Blu-ray. But love this cartoon. I think my brother actually bought this. But great stuff here. Cannot go wrong. I love this. It's just, it just didn't. The people that made it, ABC, and they just didn't get it. Like, they didn't understand Kevin Smith and his humor, and they're like, oh, Jay and Silent Bob, yeah, they could be cartoon characters, but they just didn't understand what they were doing, which is why the show failed. So there's that. And then we got some kaiju stuff here. We have Iron King, the complete series. And then we have the Super Robot Red Baron. I got these in a collection I bought with some other stuff. So I was like, cool. And these are pretty cool. I do like this. I forget which one came. I think this one came out first. Because that's how I had them on the shelf. Yeah. There's that. Alright. And then we'll move to the bottom shelf here. So first up, which probably will never come out on Blu-ray, but we'll see. But we got Thunder, 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 Thundercats! Come on, you have to do it that way. So we have the complete series, but we have Season 1, Volume 1, and these are the original releases with the lenticular covers, because when they re-released them, they did not have the lenticular covers. So, which is the first 33 episodes of Season 1. But then, when they put these out on DVD, they fucked up the order, and, I think it's 2 seasons, but it's actually more than 2 seasons, because, that's what they always do. But love Thundercats. Can't go wrong. Then we have Season 1, Volume 2. Lion-O with the sword there. The Sword of Omens. Omens, whatever. Then we've got Season 2, Volume 1. I have a Thundercat shirt upstairs. Again, I used to watch this. It actually got reran on Cartoon Network when I was a kid, so that's why I was able to see it. Again, He-Man, not so much, which we'll cover He-Man later. But Thundercats they showed back in the day, so I can't complain. And this is Season 2, Volume 2. So, but again, like I said, I think there's actually more than 2 seasons, but for whatever reason, for the DVDs, they condensed them into 2 seasons. And I do want to look this up, because I don't want to get this wrong. But I'm pretty sure I'm right in what I'm saying. But they always do that shit with cartoons and stuff like that when they come out on DVD and they put them in the wrong order. Yeah, it's actually 4 seasons. But for whatever reason, they condense them all to 2 for the DVDs. Yeah, it's actually, again, I'm looking at it now. I was right, 4 seasons. So you got the first season, which was the proper 65 episodes. Then you had Thundercats Ho, which was 5 episodes, which was like the special. And then the next 60 episodes were split up for whatever, again. They don't know what they're doing. But I doubt that the original Thundercats would ever come out on Blu-ray. They did the remake, which I have over there. I just haven't watched it yet. I actually really like that, though. I had that on DVD at one point. Good stuff. Then we got some Metallica. First, we got the Cliff 'Em All, which I got this because it actually was a paid request, and this is the old Snapper case release. But really enjoyed this. A lot of really cool footage in here. And then this was also a paid request when I was here. The episode of classic albums that they did on the Black Album. So that's why I picked those up, because they were not on YouTube. And the last DVD in the front row here, we've got Guardian Angel with Cynthia Rothrock, which I actually really enjoyed this one. This is a PM Entertainment movie that she did. So, cool stuff there. And then everything in the back of this shelf is Voltron, which again, I highly doubt that Voltron would ever come out on Blu-ray. So there you go. But I like Voltron, because this is another one that Cartoon Network actually reran when I was a kid, so I got to watch it. And I love these for the original Voltron. These are all the original sets that they did, the old tin sets and then like the little box sets. So we have Volume 1, which is the Blue Lion Voltron, what is it, Lion Force or whatever it is. And these are all out of print, so there. And I don't know who owns Voltron now, so there you go. Then we have Volume 2, Yellow Lion. Volume 3, Green Lion. It's like Food Lion, not really. But yeah, these open up. Nice, really like these sets. These are really cool. I think they re-released them in like a box, like a regular box set. But I wanted these because these are nicer. And then we got Volume 4, Red Lion. Which it's funny because there's a town near here called Red Lion. Which is actually where Lizzie Hale is from the band Hailstorm. Then we got Volume 5, Black Lion. And then that's it for the Lion Voltrons. And then they did the sea and air and land. So then we have Volume 6, which is the air team. But then they switched over to like these little, again, box set releases. But these are nice too. I can't complain. Very nice presentations on these, which is why I wanted these. Then we've got Volume 7, the land team. So I think the first 5 was Voltron Vehicle Force or whatever it was called, Lion Force in Japan, and then they changed it to these are the vehicle ones. And then Volume 8, C Team. And I do have, because also when I was a kid, that's when they did the Voltron, the CGI one, the third dimension. I do have that, as I made those because those never came out officially. And then in like 2011, I think it was called Voltron Force. I have those as well, which again, I made because they never came out officially. But then we also have Fleet of Doom, which was the movie that they did, which I think this was supposed to come out on Blu-ray, and then it got canceled, so it didn't happen. But this is where the Lion Force and then the other Force team up. And then we have the Netflix series, Legendary Defender. This is the first 2 seasons, which I actually liked this. I watched all this, and then we have seasons 3 through 6. For whatever reason, they did not release season 7 or 8. I did like this. I know they did some gay shit, they did some woke shit, but I think, at least in my opinion, it was tasteful. It wasn't like super in your face, but then people complained about it because they killed off like one of the gay characters, because that's never enough for these fucking weirdos. You know, you complain about, oh, there's not enough gay characters, and then they have gay characters and they kill them off, and then it's still not enough and all that. But here, and I haven't watched these in a while, but I don't think it was done as bad as these idiots claim it was, and I think it was done kind of tastefully. So, you know, there you go. But I have to go back and watch it. But we'll see. But that also, yes, it is tokenism, because you're taking historically straight characters and turning them gay, because you have to ruin everything. So you have to look at it from that perspective as well. But oh well. Alright, so what I'm going to do, since we got about 40 minutes left on this part, I will put all this shit away. We'll do a cut, and I will grab the big box sets from the top of the shelves, and we'll switch gears and we'll do those, and we'll get those knocked out. That'll probably take up maybe the rest of this part. If not, we'll jump into some other stuff. So we will do that, and we'll do a quick cut, so don't you guys go changing, and we'll see you in a jiff. Alright, so I will, instead of having a shit ton of box sets all over the floor and everything, I'm just going to grab the first half, and then I'll do these, then we'll do another quick cut, and then I'll do the second half. But before we get into the box sets, one of these is box set related, but I haven't watched the other one yet. I do have a couple stragglers, so to speak. So I have other releases of these cartoons and stuff. I just haven't watched it yet. But first up is Cops, not Bad Boys, what you gonna do? Actually, before that, the cartoon Cops. And then it's funny because after the other show Cops came out, when they reran this, they had to call this Cyber Cops. But I have the cartoon Cops. I just haven't watched it yet. But this is another DVD they did. This is called Fighting Crime in a Future Time. And the reason why I have this is because I think they re-edited, or it was fucked up or something, one of the episodes. So this one has the proper version on there. So that's why I found this cheap one at a video game store. Then I have the complete series of Defenders of the Earth. Once again, I just haven't watched it yet, but I got this in a collection. This is Mill Creek. When they got the rights, they did this four movie collection where they just took 5 episodes and edited them together to make kind of movies. So I just kept this one. I thought it was pretty cool. And then I have the older Robotech box set. I just haven't watched it yet. And I also have the Robotech complete set. I have to compare, because everywhere you go online, you can't find a list of all the extras that are on each of the releases. So I actually have to sit down and go through all the sets and see, which features made it to which releases and such. And then, of course, they had the Blu-rays of Robotech that are out there, which I love. Robotech, I love old school. I'm not a big anime guy, but stuff like this I do really like. But yeah, I got to sit down and figure out what ended up on the Blu-ray releases and what to keep and what not. But this is again, I have the older box set, the Protoculture Collection, which that box set is fucking awesome. But this is the cheapo version that came out years later when the rights went over to Lionsgate. So you have the complete series. You have 3 of the movies, which is Robotech 2, The Sentinels, which I think this was no, it's on the older box set. Shadow Chronicles and Love, Live, Alive, which the last 2 were but the last 2 were in this box set. The Sentinels, I think, was in the other box set. But I don't like how they did this because, it's that fucking cheap-ass packaging. I think when I got it, it came broken. And then, yeah, they just stack all the discs on top of each other, which I hate. But like I said, I have to actually go through each of these, each of the sets to find out what made it to what set and what's missing and shit like that. Because like I said, everywhere you go for Robotech, you cannot find just like a list of what all the extras are. You got to play all these fucking games and figure it out. But Robotech is classic anime, so there's that. Alright, so I'm just going to start grabbing these and do them this way, and then like I said, I'll put them back up, and then I'll grab the other half of them instead of just having a shit ton of box sets everywhere. So first up, again, these are in no particular order. We have the complete Adam West Batman series. I got this super cheap when it first came out, because when this came out, I worked at the mall. I was the mall cop, and I had the hookup at FYE, and I think this retailed for $120. I think I ended up getting it for like $75 or $80. Like, I got it really cheap, but this is a really awesome box set. I think the battery's dead because it'll play the Batman theme, but yeah, the battery's dead. But this is an amazing box set. I absolutely love it, and it does have a replica of the Batmobile and the playing cards. In here you have, and I love this series, I talked about it before, but I absolutely love the Adam West series. You get a scrapbook from Adam West where he just talks about, his thoughts on it and different pictures and stuff. Then you get the episode guide, which when this came out, there were issues with it, but they issued the replacement discs very quickly, so I took the original disc out. I still have those, and the replacement discs are in here. Because they were like missing the teasers and stuff for some reason. I don't know how they fucked that up, but apparently they did. So there's that. But I want to see, because I can't remember, because I've not watched. I do want to watch in 2026. I do want to watch this series because it'll be the 60th anniversary. So I do want to give that another look. But I want to see if the pictures. I think I passed it. Nope. Because they teamed up with the Green Hornet. They actually put a picture of the Green Hornet and Kato in there. So, but I don't know why we still don't have the Green Hornet on Blu-ray. So we have season 1, 3-disc set. Because again, it's Blu-ray. You can put more episodes. Season 2. There's Eli Wallach, Vincent Price. Again, I loved this show as a kid. I think I love it more as an adult. I don't care that it's goofy and it's silly. That's why I love it, because it's something different. Everyone now just wants Batman to be all serious and everything, but you have to remember, Batman wasn't always like that. And this is the extra features disc. So there you go. And you can have both versions, which I don't understand why they can't do that for fucking Ninja Turtles. But you can have a serious version, and then you can have a version for the kids, so to speak. And then there you go. So, classic. Cannot go wrong with that. Still one of my favorite box sets. Then, I'm not a huge Transformers guy, but I do have the original series. This is the what's it called? The Matrix of Leadership Edition, I think is what it's called. It doesn't say it here, but I believe that's what it is. But this is a really cool set. It opens up like that. And again, I was never a big Transformers guy. This was another show where by the time I came around, it was off the air, but then they did that Generation 1 thing in the 90s where they just added like the CGI sequences and stuff. So I do remember watching that, but I never got crazy into Transformers. But I do like the original series. I do like this series. So that's why I picked this up. So you get your episode guide. Again, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. You get an ad for the G.I. Joe Foot Locker, which I do have this. And I was always more like, again, didn't get crazy into G.I. Joe, but, I kind of was more of a G.I. Joe guy. So there's that. And then you have, it's 16 discs. They don't break it down by season like the Batman one did. Well, they kind of do, so. Yeah, this is season 1 is the first 2 discs, and then you get a bonus disc, and then season 2 is 1, 2, or 3, 4, 5. 6, 7? Yeah. Season 2 is 7 discs, and then season 3 is 1, 2, 3 and a half, and then season 4 is come on. Yeah, season 1.5 because it wasn't that long. But there you go. You got Transformers, robots in disguise. Also, I would like to get Beast Wars and Beast Machines. I did watch those when I was a kid because they were, the new Transformers, But I do like those. And then what was the other one? I think it was called Robots in Disguise. I think it was called Transformers Robots in Disguise. It used to come on Fox Kids like in 2000, somewhere around there. I remember watching that one. And a lot of these I actually got pretty cheap, like the Batman set. I think Transformers, I got that cheap. I got this one pretty cheap too, and this is another one that's one of my favorites. And I'll fix it. But this is the X-Files Complete Collector's Edition, which I love. This a really nice presentation on here. Really liked how they did these. And this one I got pretty cheap as well. So yeah, it's a magnet, and then it flips up. I do have to re-glue the back because the back popped off, and then I got to put the tray back out because now that it's back in, it's going to get stuck because they kind of stuffed it and didn't think about it. Because the tray has like the episode inside the tray is like the episode guide and the little trinkets and the posters, and I think there's a comic book that came with this. There we go. Yeah, I'll just take the tray out for now because it just slides out. But it's the complete series and then the first movie, so the good stuff with X-Files. But you get the episode guide, which is really cool. Again, I'm not going to go through all of it. They have these art cards, which like the VHS tapes had. You just get an ad for different Fox Sci-Fi DVDs. I took this out of the older DVD that I had for the movie. This is the booklet that came with the movie. And then you get a poster for the movie. And then you get a little reproduction of one of the comic books. That's all the stuff that's in the little tray here. Again, if it wants to fit. There we go. Yeah, I mean, I love this set, but they didn't really design it that well. And then each of the seasons comes in like this little, like the old CD case, digibooks or whatever you want to call them. So there you go. And I'll hold up. And then they just sit in there. And then I put the movie in between season 5 and 6 because that's where it takes place. So yeah, all good stuff. And I know it is on Blu-ray, but it's so fucking expensive because they went out of... I think when they first came out, they were fucked up, so they had to recall them all and fix them. And then they weren't in print very long, and then now they're like $300-400, and I'm not paying... I'll stick with the DVDs for now. I'm not paying all that. This is a box set that I talk about all the time. Again, and they're all pretty dusty because I got to clean them off. But this is a classic box set. This is the Blade Runner briefcase set. Absolutely love this, which has all the different versions of the movie. It's the 5-disc set, which the shitty thing is the documentary I think is on a DVD. Oh well, it is what it is. I can get the 4K or whatever. And it's got all the trinkets and stuff, but if it wants to behave, there we go. So you get the little slip cover thing, and then it opens up here, and there you go. So you get a like a lenticular film cell in there. And then this is all art stuff, Sid Mead art and stuff, which is pretty cool. And then you get a note from Ridley Scott. You get a toy of the police spinner. And the origami unicorn. and then you get the Blu-ray itself. But like I said, I think the bonus enhancement archive DVD. So all the bonus feature disc is on a DVD. So you get the final cut, which I'm not a fan of, to be honest. Disc 2 is the DVD, which has the Dangerous Days documentary. Disc 3 is the theatrical cut, the international theatrical cut, which had some more violence, and then the director's cut, which is the version without the narration. And then disc 4 is the trailers and all that DVD, and then disc 5 is the work print. But if you get the 4K and stuff, all the extra features are on a Blu-ray disc. So I do want to get that, but I remember when this set came out, even before, well, I remember watching Blade Runner as a kid on Sci-Fi Channel. But I always really wanted this set because it just looked so fucking cool. And it is. Even now, I still think it's cool. What's on the... Yeah, so disc 4 has all the featurettes and, the other documentaries and deleted scenes and stuff, and all the trailers and TV spots and all that. Why they couldn't put it on a Blu-ray, I don't know. It's just simply laziness. But like I said, they rectified that later on. Why they couldn't do it on this set is beyond me. But that's okay. I'll get one of the... There was another one, I think it was like the 30th anniversary or 40th anniversary, that was a nice little digibook set. So I'll have to see if I can track that down. But for now, this will work. It is Blade Runner, so there you go. Just watch this set again. This is the James Bond 50th anniversary, just called Bond 50, which has everything up to Quantum of Solace. So you get two books here, which they split up. But I really like the presentation on this. You get... There's Roger Moore. Again, I'm not going to show all of them. And here you get up to Quantum of Solace, and then there's a spot for Skyfall, and then there's a bonus disc, which is pretty cool. But I just watched all these in November, and it was fun because I hadn't watched any of the Bond movies in forever. Next up, actually this is my brother's, but I have it in here, but it is the Twilight Zone, the original Twilight Zone complete definitive collection. Even this set I think is still awesome. I know these are on Blu-ray, but this is a killer DVD box set, which is, you get all the episodes, a bunch of extra features on here. And this is when they would go all out for, DVD box sets, so you cannot go wrong. Then we have The Goonies. This is the 25th anniversary edition, which is pretty cool. It opens up. You get the treasure map. So you get the movie on Blu-ray. Empire Magazine. I think this is a reprint for the movie. I'm not going to take too long. You get some storyboards, which is pretty cool. Another reprint of remember when they used to do the official souvenir magazines back in the day? That's what this is a reprint of. I think it's got pictures of the deleted scenes and stuff in here too. Some of them at least. Right? No? There's the music video. There's Iron Sheik. And then you get a board game, which I've never played. We gotta play this one. So, but all very cool stuff. Love the Goonies, classic. We'll save those two for last. But next up, I love these movies, but this, I don't know what they were thinking, but this is the Godzilla Criterion, This is the Showa era. You know, I like the art on these. It looks cool. But really, guys, like, you couldn't have just done a regular box set. You had to do like this giant ass book. And again, I'm not going to show every single. And plus, also, a lot of these box sets, there's, you know, a million people here on YouTube that have done, you know, breakdowns and everything. And there's all the discs. And then here's the J card or whatever. All right, and then last but certainly not least, for this half of the box sets. First up, we have the Halloween complete collection from Shame Factory. I got this really cheap too, because again, this came out when I still had the connection at FY. I think this retailed for $120, and I think I got it for like $80, so I can't complain. But I absolutely love this set. Now, it's not perfect because, number one, Halloween 4 was fucked up because it was the old version that was out of sync. So you had to get the replacement discs. But I love that they're black Blu-ray cases. I love that they have the original poster artwork. Halloween 2 was the old release, and then they still put the TV cut on DVD because they're fucking lazy. There's an Australian release of Halloween 2 that I want to get because that has, I think, a couple different commentary tracks. And they actually put the TV cut on a Blu-ray. I don't know why that was so difficult. Halloween 3 was the older Blu-ray, but that's okay. And then the reason why this was orange is because they didn't want to fix the fucking label, because I have the fucked up disc. I still kept it because it had a different artwork. And we have Halloween 5. I know I'm fucking exhausted. This is why this is going to be the last part for today. Then we have The Curse of Michael Myers. Now, this slipcover, Lionsgate later did their own release of the producer's cut. It had like this VHS slipcover look to it, which they did for a bunch of movies. I had that release just because I found it for like $5 or something at Walmart, and I got rid of it and kept the slipcover, and I just put it on here for fun. Then we have H2O, which had all new features. Resurrection did not until the 4K came out. And then no, I don't think it does. But the 4K had some new extra features. Then we got, I don't even want to talk about these. But this one had the bonus disc, which had all the new features for Halloween 4 and 5 and the TV cut of 1. And so, I mean, again, there's some things on here which I'm not crazy about. But, you know, I do love this box set. It's the only time that we're going to get at least the first 8 Halloween movies. We're never going to get another set with all the first 8 movies. It's just not going to happen. Because different people own the rights. But here we go. So the bonus disc, it has the extended cut of Halloween, which was the TV scenes were put back in with the theatrical version. That's on the bonus disc. The new stuff for Halloween 4 and 5 were on the bonus disc. The new Horrors Hallowed Grounds. I don't know why they couldn't just put that with the movie. I guess just to sell the fact that it was this big super duper box set. You know what I mean? But again, not perfect, but a classic set, at least in my opinion. And then to compare with that, I do have the Shame Factory Friday the 13th box set, which I love this. I know this one's going out of print, so they're just trying to sell off all the copies that they have, but I got it. I actually pre-ordered it, which, again, I'm not big on pre-orders. You guys know this. But this one was done very well, too. Now, the shitty thing... No, not... Well, I don't think there was anything really. Well, no, I forgot. It was because Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X were fucked up, so they had to reissue them. The ones I have are still the fucked up ones because it's just not that big of a deal to me. But we got one has the 4K transfer, which is brand new to this. Then we have part 2. New 4K trans, but it's the same thing. Like the new extra features for 1, 2. Not that I care about 3 because I don't. 3 and 4 were my least favorites, to be honest. Out of the ones that are called Friday the 13th. New transfer. New commentary. New commentary. 7 didn't have anything new, but they put them on the bonus discs. Yeah, the bonus discs. I need to go to bed. This is why I'm fucking exhausted. I've been up since 3 o'clock this morning. I just randomly woke up at 3 a.m. Yeah. The first 8 don't have any of the new extra features on the actual movie discs. They're on the bonus discs. Jason Goes to Hell has the new extra feature, but again, they fucked it up because I think it was missing some of the sound effects. I don't know how you fuck that up. Same with Jason X, but it has the new interviews. Then Freddy vs. Jason, which didn't have anything new on it until you get to the bonus disc. Same with the remake. Then you have, again, the 2 bonus discs, which had all the new extra features for the first 8 movies. But let me see what's added, because again, I haven't watched these in a while. Come on, behave. It doesn't tell you in the booklet? That's kind of fucked up. That's fucked up. It doesn't tell you in the booklet. The Halloween one did. Well, I'm not looking it up online, but yeah. Oh well. But at least it had all the extra features from the DVDs and such. Alright, so I have, again, about 15 minutes left on this part. It's not many on the other side. It's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it might be a little bit less than an hour, because I'm running out of steam very quickly here. But I will grab the other 6 box sets off of the shelf, and then we'll you know what, I'll just grab them and put them all back at once, and we'll come back and we'll finish that up, and then we'll go from there. Anyway, just hang tight. Alright, let's go ahead and we will do the last 6 big box sets here, and we'll go from there. So first up, I love this set too. I love all these sets, you know this, but the Real Ghostbusters cartoon. This is the complete collection with Slimer there, lenticular Slimer. I think this was Time Life. I think this was exclusive to their website, if I'm not mistaken. But really nice set here. You know, 5 volumes. They all come in these nice steel books. I think they, I know they've reissued this, but not in anything as nice as this. You know, I think you can get like a budget release or what have you. And again, I'm not going to go through every single, you know, piece of it here, because there's plenty of other videos here on YouTube where people have done that. And then you get the bonus disc, and then your booklet / episode guide. Yeah. Love the real Ghostbusters. Extreme Ghostbusters, they did a set, but that set was fucking terrible, which is why I will not buy it. So, there's that. And then, got two of these. We have Seinfeld. This is the first 3 seasons in this really nice box set here, which has first 3 seasons, a script, salt and pepper shakers, and playing cards. And this was $25. I still have the sticker on it. Got this at an antique mall. So then we have Volume 1, which is the first 2 seasons. Volume 2, which is Season 3. And then I have Season 4, 7, 8, and 9, because they never did a box set. They only did a box set for the first 3, and then 5 and 6. And then we have the script for The Big Salad. That's pretty cool. And then, yeah, that's the playing cards and the salt and pepper shaker are in the other box. I'm just not going to take them out. And then we have the Season 5 and 6 box set with the puffy shirt, which I think that's hilarious. And then this comes with another script. I think that's it. Yeah, so you have Volume 4, which is Season 5. And then Volume 5, which is Season 6. And again, we'll get to the other seasons later on, because they fit on the shelf fine. And then here's the script for the pilot, not the actual pilot, the episode The Pilot, when Jerry wanted to sell them the TV show. Now, the last 3 box sets that I have are all for the Phantasm movies, because who doesn't love a good Phantasm box set? And, of course, that fell. I think that goes with this. It does. We'll get to that in a minute here. So, first up, I have the Anchor Bay. This only came out in the UK. This is the Phantasm Sphere, which was the only release on DVD, as far as I know, back in the day, that had all the Phantasm movies. Because you guys remember when Phantasm 2 was not on DVD and the VHS was expensive? Yeah. So this was the only way to get Phantasm 2 on DVD. This set, for a while, went for a lot of money. I think my mom got this for me for birthday or Christmas, or it was a gift. And I still have it, which is awesome. Still have the sphere. I used to have this sphere put together, but I just keep it in here now. But still love this DVD set. Had to keep this one. Because Anchor Bay in Europe, in Region 2 land, UK, they were able to do like the Phantasm set. They were able to do the Halloween box set, which I still want to get that one. There was an Evil Dead set. This is a pain in the ass to get out, as you can hear. But yeah, I actually used to have this set up. It's actually still got some of the dust on it. It definitely needs a cleaning. But there's the sphere, and then I had it upside down. Then you get the prongs. And then the discs sit in there. But yeah, for the longest time, this was the only way to get Phantasm 2 on DVD, because that was in the time when Phantasm 2, just Universal did not put it out for whatever reason. All the other Phantasm movies were out, and then John Coscarelli took them to court and shit. I remember hearing about that, to find out what was going on, because apparently they refused to tell him what was going on, and then they wouldn't release it. So he didn't sue them, but they went to court to figure out what the hell was going on. Then they finally put out Phantasm 2 here, and nothing, no extras, no nothing. And then Shout Factory picked it up. But yeah, for the longest time, this was the best way to get the Phantasm movies. And I love this, still love this set, which is why I kept it. And that's the only DVD set I have. And then I have the Well Go USA put this out here, Phantasm Collection, which this, I think I got this right when it went out of print, so I didn't have to pay too much to get it. I don't know what it goes for now, but there you go. It's got the 5 movies. No. Yes. And then the there's a bonus list. I do not like Phantasm 5. That movie was so disappointing to me. But there's that. And then I have this sphere I kept out because it just slips right out of the box. It's definitely dusty. I got to clean it off. But then I have the Arrow set for Phantasm because it has different extra features. And plus it looks really cool. But I got this on sale right when it went out of print. Arrow was just trying to sell off the ones that they had. So I got this one pretty cheap. So there you go. And again, I don't know what any of these box sets go for now, Phantasm wise, because I already have them. You know what I mean? And these are upside down as well. But yeah, it came with the sphere, and then you get this big ass booklet here about, you know, all the movies. Does this one have a list of the extra features, unlike Shout Factory? With fucking Halloween. Talks about the transfers. That's pretty cool. No, it doesn't. Of course not. And then I like that they put all the discs in here like that. But yeah, I had them upside down. So there's 1, 2, and then again, you know, so on and so on. But like I said, I'm not going to show every single detail about these box sets because, like I said, there's plenty of videos here on YouTube where people have done it way better than I ever could. Maybe it'll tell you the bonus disc. No, it doesn't even tell you. Yeah, so there's that. Alright, well with that, I think I need to flip it around to put it on properly. I think I'm about done. Because I could go a couple more minutes here, but I think this is a good place to stop. So now that we got all that out of the way, now we're going to get on top of these shelves here. And what I will do is kind of like what I'm doing now. I'll just pull, you know, each rack off and then just kind of sit on the floor so I can be comfortable instead of standing and pulling. You know, we'll move some shit out of the way. And we'll start on that next time, which is part 17, 18, I think it's part 20. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But I still got plenty to get to. I'm actually glad that I decided to film today because I wasn't going to. And then I'm like, well, you know, it's been a while. And, you know, I do want to get these up before the year. At least the movies and the TV shows and stuff. Some of the other stuff, you know, we'll work on later. And we got, like I said, we got plenty to get to. And then when we get, so we'll do the top. And then when we get to here, I think I'll do something similar. Like, you know, I'll just sit and pull these off the shelf. The top ones, I'll do the same thing. I'll just pull them off and sit on the floor. At least that way I can be comfortable. But anyway, thank you. And like I said, we're not even getting... We're warm. We're definitely warm, but we still got plenty to get to. So don't you guys worry. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Later. Of course I did that.